whispering. Welcome to India's Wild Outdoor. I'm Zahir. Tonight we delve into the mysterious and chilling tale of Jim Corbett. Today's story is not just about a tiger, but something far darker. A presence that haunted the legendary hunter. Echoing. This is a real story, about fear, about a night Jim Corbett never forgot. Distant scream. A night when the hunter became the hunted. In the early 1900s, a tigress had killed more than 400 people in the Kumaon region. The terror was palpable, and the villagers lived in constant fear. Every rustle in the bushes, every shadow in the moonlight was a potential harbinger of death. The Champawat tigress, as she came to be known, was no ordinary predator. She was cunning, elusive, and seemed almost supernatural in her ability to evade capture. The British authorities were at their wits' end, and the local population was on the brink of despair. Jim Corbett, the legendary hunter, was called to stop her. But when he arrived, something else was waiting. Corbett was not just a hunter. He was a man deeply connected to the land and its people. He understood the delicate balance of nature and the importance of respecting the spirits that were believed to inhabit the forests. As he prepared for the hunt, he couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being watched, not just by the tigress, but by something far more sinister. Corbett stayed at a British-era bungalow on a lonely hill. Locals warned him. The place was haunted. The bungalow stood as a relic of a bygone era, its walls echoing with the whispers of the past. The villagers spoke of strange occurrences, doors that creaked open on their own, footsteps in the dead of night, and an eerie presence that seemed to linger in the shadows. Corbett, a man of rationality, dismissed these tales as mere superstitions, but he couldn't ignore the palpable sense of dread that hung in the air. They weren't wrong. The first night was uneventful, but the second night was different. The air grew colder and an unsettling silence enveloped the bungalow. It was as if the very forest was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. At midnight, Corbett's aide heard strange voices from his room. The voices were faint, almost like whispers carried by the wind, but they were unmistakably human. They spoke in a language that was foreign, yet hauntingly familiar. The aide, a seasoned tracker, was not easily spooked, but this was different. He felt a chill run down his spine as the voices grew louder, more insistent. A moment later, Corbett burst out, shirtless, sweating, terrified. His eyes were wide with fear, and his hands trembled as he tried to speak. "There's something in there," he managed to say, his voice barely above a whisper. "Something not of this world." He refused to go back in, and no one ever knew what he saw. The bungalow remained a place of mystery, its secrets locked away in the darkness. Corbett, a man known for his bravery, was visibly shaken. The villagers, who had always revered him, now looked at him with a mix of fear and curiosity. What could have terrified the great Jim Corbett so profoundly? In his book, he wrote only this: "I have a tale to tell of that bungalow, but I will not tell it here." Those words left readers with more questions than answers. What had Corbett experienced in that haunted bungalow? Why did he choose to keep it a secret? The mystery only added to his legend, making him not just a hunter of man-eaters, but a man who had faced the unknown and lived to tell the tale, albeit only partially. In 1929, while camping near Purnagiri, Corbett saw lights floating across an impossible cliff. These lights moved with an eerie grace, defying the laws of nature. They seemed to dance in the air, casting an otherworldly glow on the rugged landscape. Corbett watched in awe, his mind racing with possibilities. Were these the spirits of the departed, as the locals believed, or was there a more rational explanation? Locals believed they were spirits, punished by the goddess. The villagers spoke in hushed tones, their eyes wide with fear. They told stories of ancient curses and vengeful spirits, of souls condemned to wander the earth for eternity. Corbett listened, his skepticism waning in the face of such conviction. He couldn't help but wonder if there was some truth to these tales, if the world was indeed filled with mysteries beyond human comprehension. In the Thak jungle, Corbett heard it, the Chudail's scream. Once, twice, thrice. The sound was unlike anything he had ever heard before, piercing, mournful, and filled with an unearthly sorrow. It echoed through the trees, sending shivers down his spine. Corbett, a man who had faced death countless times, felt a fear that was primal, instinctive. He described it as a sound that could stop the heart of a brave man. The scream seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, a disembodied wail that defied explanation. Corbett knew that he was not alone in the jungle, that something ancient and malevolent was watching him. He steeled himself, drawing on every ounce of his courage, and pressed on. He tracked the tigress through blood and silence, and ended the nightmare. The hunt was long and arduous, filled with moments of intense danger and fleeting glimpses of the elusive predator. Corbett's skills were put to the ultimate test, but in the end, he triumphed. The Champawat tigress was no more, and the villagers could finally breathe a sigh of relief. But the victory came at a cost, leaving Corbett with memories that would haunt him for the rest of his life. But the forest and the bungalow never truly let him go. The shadows of the past lingered, a constant reminder of the mysteries he had encountered. Corbett's legacy was not just that of a hunter, but of a man who had glimpsed the unknown and emerged forever changed. The haunted hunt of Jim Corbett remains a tale of courage, mystery, and the thin veil that separates our world from the supernatural. Even now, those who dare to visit say the air is cold, as if something still watches. The eerie silence is often broken by whispers that seem to come from nowhere, and shadows that move just beyond the corner of your eye. Locals believe that the spirits of those who once lived here still roam the grounds, forever trapped in a loop of their final moments. Some have even reported hearing footsteps echoing through the ruins at night, despite no one being there. It's a place where the past and present seem to merge, creating an atmosphere thick with tension and mystery. If you loved this chilling tale, hit like and subscribe to India's Wild Outdoor. There's more where this came from. Real encounters, dark legends, and untold wilderness secrets. Until then, sleep with one eye open. And remember, the wilderness holds many secrets, some of which are better left undisturbed. Stay curious, stay safe, and always be prepared for the unexpected.